Welcome back to the channel, everybody. In today's video I am going to show you how I put the epoxy on a rod wrap. First thing you want to do is get all your supplies ready. If you notice, I have two different cups here. These are ones I get at the dollar store. They're really shiny and I do not know if they have a silicone base to them. We do not want nothing with a silicone base. But these other measuring cups are really dull, and they advertise 100% no silicone. The reason being, silicone will make this rod wrap orange peel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, like. I mean, it helps the channel grow a great deal. And you're going to want to get all your supplies together here. So we're going to need a cup. I use the Pro Coat hardener and resin, so we'll get those out. I use the syringes to measure my mixture out, and then I get another silicone, the one with the silicone, it really don't matter, and my brush cleaner. You're going to want a brush. For this one, I'm going to probably, this is about a 1/4 inch brush, we'll use that, and a stir. I'm going to slide this rod back so we can work, and then I like to put a paper towel down, or a rag. This is a shop rag actually, not a paper towel, but paper towel works just fine underneath it because I don't like to get it all over my track. I'll put the brush cleaner out of the way, and we'll mix this up. It's a simple 2-part epoxy, so whatever you put. For this, I think we're going to go with 1.5 milliliters. So I like to put, if I'm taking 1.5 milliliters of liquid out of this, I put 1.5 milliliters of air into it. And it's something that I learned because this will vacuum lock, and then when you're going to pull it out, it'll want to keep pulling itself back in. So if I'm taking 1.5 milliliters out, I put 1.5 milliliters of air in there, and then it's a nice smooth transition. Put the cap back on that, set it back here out of the way. I do not use the same syringe. You use different syringes, and I put the quick connect ends on here too. It makes it easier and less spillage. It don't get all over the place. Doing the exact same thing. One and a half. Squirt it in there. Clean off the tip. Alright, we'll get those out of the way. The key to a perfect epoxy coat is you do not want bubbles, and you want to try being consistent. You always want to have your work area the exact same temperature every time, your epoxy the exact same temperature every time. And when you mix this, it starts out clear, and then as you start mixing the two together, it'll get cloudy. You want to mix it until that cloudiness is all gone and it's back clear again. Trying not to put too many bubbles in there. If you get them in there, it's not a big deal because you're gonna use heat to get them out. When I first started, I used the alcohol torch that they give you, but I have scorched, I know it's my fault, but I have used the alcohol torch and scorched the epoxy. So I try not to do that. I will blow in air every now and then to pop some of the bubbles, but you want to stir this until it's completely clear. You can set a timer, I mean, because being consistent is the best thing when it comes to epoxy. Because if you mix it up different ways every time, then you don't know what you did wrong. Try to get it off the edges. I think that's mixed up pretty good. I don't see no cloudiness. I'll just set that there, and we get the dryer spinning. Put this back in frame so you can see what's going on. It's a real simple process. Get this back in frame here. With a wrap like this, I'll put it on real thick because I'm going to do a few coats of it. The handle's going to cover this part, and then the other handle's going to cover that part. But I'll get it on. My garage is cold. This epoxy is thick. See, I'm breaking my own rules, you know, being consistent. I like to have this stuff, you know, 75, 80 degrees. It flows so much nicer. So I'm just gobbing it on. I'll thin it and even it all out in a minute. I'm just getting the epoxy on there, letting it soak through the threads, get down to the rod blank. Try to put my cup underneath it. If anything drips, I drip it back into the cup. But I do have the paper towel for a backup in case I don't have my cup in there. I put a thin coat on. You do not want to try to do it in one coat. You will mess it up. And I'm just gobbing it on there right now because I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna level all this out. You're putting little pressure on it because you do not want to move the threads. So you put as little pressure on it as possible. I'm just going to keep smoothing it. Do want to go all the way to the blank. You got any little pieces like fiber sticking up like right here, they're going to be under the handle on this type of wrap anyways. If it was a different wrap, I wouldn't even leave them, but like I said, this wrap is going to be hidden under the handles anyways. So I'm just making sure it's soaked in good. I am going sideways. I mean, most people just go, you know, hold their brush like this and just go around it. I'm trying to keep it in those diamonds because I do want this perfectly smooth when I am done, and I like to try to get it in 2 coats. You do not ever want to try to get it in 1 coat. So I am trying to put it on semi. Okay, so we've got it on there good. I can see it the way it's rippling. So we'll take off the excesses now, and I'll just go across the whole length of it. The reason I go sideways like this, because when I go like this and go across it, you can have it humpy. It can be thicker over here than here. But when I go like this across it, it makes it way more smooth for me. I found this the easiest way for me to do it. And that's it right there. We're done. And then you just clean your brush, you know. You do want to clean these brushes. I don't use those disposable brushes with the plastic bristles that you get from your suppliers. I don't like them. I find them to be junk, to be honest with you. But I do. You can get these little brushes, a whole pack of them with like 10 brushes, different size brushes. I mean, I've got all the way up to 1-inch brushes. I'm doing a big wrap from the reel seat, or from the grip all the way to the first guide. I will get out the 1-inch, and I'll put it on so thick and fast, because with the epoxy you only got about, I don't know, 30 minutes, 20 minutes to work it. So when you got all your guides and everything on, that's it. Brush is clean. It'll set up on you. So now we'll just put that and let it spin for, let it spin for a minimum of 10 hours, and then you can shut off the dryer, but you need to keep this rod spinning. If it don't spin, it'll all drip down to the edges. And that's pretty much it. I do have a tent. It is cold in my garage. I work in my garage today, and it is cold outside. So I did get up an hour or two early, fired up all the space heaters, warmed up the garage. But I do have a tent that goes over this. You've seen it in some of my other videos. It keeps any dust, dog hair out, and you can put a little heater in there to maintain a temperature. Now you want to keep an eye on it. I always set this inside my tent, and it shows my temperature. Ideal temperature is between 80 and 70. 75 is, you know, dead center. So I try to keep it 75, and I'll use a little tiny heater about this big. Matter of fact, this little heater right here, this little heater is great. But before we put this in the drying tent, we want to make sure we don't have no bubbles. I use that little heater, but a lot of people don't have that heater. This is just a regular straw from like McDonald's or something. And your lungs, your air in your lungs is hotter than the temperature outside. So my air in my lungs is hotter than this epoxy. So if I just blow through this straw, you want to blow real lightly. You just want air to come out it. And that rod spins, it'll pop any bubble. So I'll just go across this whole thing, pop any bubbles, and one more coat, and that thing will be perfectly smooth. I can put a decal on it. There will be no air pockets under it. Well, let me pop these bubbles quick. That's it. The bubbles are popped. It's ready to spin for, I let them go for 24 hours before I mess with them. And then it's ready to put the handles on. Your winding checks on there. And then I'll put a decal on it if it's smooth enough. It don't look like it's quite smooth enough, so I'll probably get a second coat, nice thick second coat on there. To put the decal on it, and I put a skim coat over the decal so it can't come off. But that's how we epoxy, fast, easy, and straight to the point. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to smash that like button, leave a comment if you have any questions, or if there's a specific video that you would like to see about rod wrapping. We got some drone videos coming up. We're going to start using that a lot with our channel. Maybe I can get a real nice intro out of the deal. But that's where we're at. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.